somewhere in the dry heart of Rajasthan, beyond the crumbling highways and the last whisper of civilization, there is a place the Indian government has officially forbidden you to enter after dark. Not because of wildlife, not because of unstable architecture, because of something they cannot explain. Before we talk about curses and ghosts and things that move in the dark, I want you to understand something that most videos about this place completely miss. Bhangarh was not always ruins. It was not always silence. There was a time, not so long ago in the grand scale of history, when this was one of the most alive, most celebrated, most vibrant cities in all of medieval India. To understand Bhangarh, you have to go back, not just decades, not just centuries. You have to go back to the very bones of this land. The Aravalli mountain range, the ancient spine running behind these walls, is one of the oldest mountain ranges on Earth. Geologists estimate it is over 350 million years old, older than the Himalayas, older than almost any mountain system still standing on this planet. Civilizations have sheltered in these hills since before recorded history. Archaeological evidence suggests human settlement in this region stretching back to the early centuries of the Common Era. But the story of Bhangarh as a city, as a kingdom, begins in the year 1573. It was founded by Man Singh I, one of the most powerful Rajput kings of the Mughal era, a man who served as a general under the Emperor Akbar himself, a warrior, a statesman, a builder. Man Singh built Bhangarh as a gift, a city for his younger brother, Madho Singh I. At its peak, Bhangarh was home to somewhere between 10,000 and 40,000 people. There were temples, dozens of them, dedicated to Shiva, to Gopinath, to Mangla Devi, to Keshav Rai. Some of these temple structures still partially stand today, and even in their ruined state, they carry a grandeur that stops you in your tracks. There were marketplaces. The ancient bazaar road is still visible beneath the overgrowth, where merchants sold spices, textiles, gemstones, and perfumes from across Rajputana and beyond. There was a royal palace complex built on the high ground at the northern end of the city, elevated, fortified, overlooking everything below like a crown sitting on a hill. Bhangarh had a water system, irrigation channels, a functioning administrative hierarchy. This was not a village. This was not a small settlement. This was a city, a proud, prosperous, complex living city in one of the most powerful kingdoms of Rajasthan. And then came the shadow. Every version of the Bhangarh story eventually arrives at the same man. His name is given as Guru Balu Nath, or sometimes simply referred to as the Sadhu, a sage, an ascetic, a man who had, long before the city was ever built, chosen this land for his meditation. He had been here first. The legend says that when Man Singh came to build his city, he approached the sage with respect, as was the custom, and asked for his blessing to build upon the land. The sage gave it, but with a condition. He said, "You may build your city, you may build your palace, but the shadow of your palace must never fall upon my place of meditation. The day it does, the city will be destroyed." Man Singh agreed. The city was built with this in mind. But kings die, and the sons of kings do not always remember the promises their fathers made. And the palace, stone by stone, generation by generation, grew taller, until one day, the shadow fell. But there is a second story woven into Bhangarh, and this one is, in many ways, even more tragic. Her name was Ratnavati. She was the princess of Bhangarh, the daughter of the ruler, and by every account in every version of this legend, she was extraordinary. Say that her beauty was renowned across Rajputana, that young men from noble families across the region sought her hand, that she was not merely beautiful, but intelligent, spirited, aware of her own worth. She was, in the language of her time, a woman of consequence. And then someone decided that what he could not have through love, he would take through magic. His name in most tellings is Singya, a sorcerer, a practitioner of the dark tantric arts, and he was, by every measure, completely consumed by his obsession with the princess. He knew he had no legitimate path to her. The social distance between them was absolute. She was royalty, he was not. So he went to his craft. The plan, sinister in its intimacy, was to enchant a fragrant oil, a perfume that Ratnavati was known to buy from the market. He would coat it with a spell so powerful that when she applied it to her skin, she would fall irresistibly, completely, helplessly in love with him. He would steal her will, dress it up as devotion. But Ratnavati was not a woman who could be easily deceived. When the enchanted oil was brought to her, some versions say she sensed something wrong immediately. Others say a loyal attendant warned her. She saw through it. And she took the vessel and smashed it against a boulder. The legend says the enchanted oil, released from the vessel, flowed toward Singya himself, and the boulder, struck by the magic, began to roll. He placed a curse on the princess, on the royal family, on the city itself. No soul born in Bhangarh shall find peace. The city will die, and all who dwell within it shall wander, unable to be reborn until Ratnavati herself returns in another life. What happened next is where legend and history begin to blur, and where the story becomes most difficult to tell cleanly. The historical record shows that Bhangarh did, in fact, collapse, rapidly, catastrophically, in a way that historians still find difficult to fully explain. The most commonly cited historical cause is the Battle of Bhangarh, fought in 1720, roughly a century and a half after the city was founded. Aurangzeb's Mughal forces had long destabilized the region. The Jat rulers who had taken over Bhangarh after the Kachwaha dynasty's decline were overwhelmed. The city was attacked, damaged. Its administrative and economic foundations, already weakened by decades of regional conflict, collapsed. And then something quieter happened. People left. Not all at once, not in a single dramatic exodus, but steadily, season by season, the population drained away. Merchants went first, when trade routes shifted, then the craftsmen, then the farmers, when the irrigation systems fell into disrepair without the labor to maintain them. By the early 1800s, Bhangarh was essentially abandoned. A city that had housed tens of thousands of people, simply empty. Today, Bhangarh is administered by the Archaeological Survey of India. It is officially classified as a protected heritage site. Thousands of tourists visit every year, in the daylight hours. The sign at the entrance is real. You can look it up, photograph it. The ASI sign explicitly states that entry within the fort premises is prohibited after sunset and before sunrise. No other ASI site in India carries this restriction. Not Hampi, not Fatehpur Sikri, not any of the hundreds of other ancient forts and palaces and ruins under government protection. Only Bhangarh,